the moment, so I only have one screen, which is kind of tricky to live stream on, but I'll do my best. Okay, so at the moment what I'm working on is trying to get that compile. No. Okay, let's have a look at why. Cool, brilliant. So I'm working on getting the equipment view to look right. So I've just had different types of ships in the game, and one thing that wasn't working on that at all was that they were all showing the old ship type on the equipment trading screen. So I've just been working on that. So I'm going to take a quick look at that, make sure it's still working. So you can see I've got a little debug message here, checking service for update. We should be working on that a little bit later on. Okay, so let's have a look at how this looks. Great, that's looking pretty good actually. Yeah, that's much more accurate. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much finished this. Fortunately, you can't really see, because of these placeholder images, you can't really see the ship underneath that, and it's all a bit joined together, which is a bit rubbish. So I need to think about how this looks. But in principle, that is basically working. I mean, it's not ideal, but you can definitely do sorts of things that you need to be able to do. So let's see if I can just add in a fuel tank, and in money. But if I go for a cargo hold again, yeah, that fits. That's great. If I sell one of these, move a cargo hold to here, that should still go in there. Yes, it does. Okay, great. Obviously, that's not a great way of setting things up, but it basically works. Okay, cool, good stuff. So let's just commit that. That was about the shortest live stream thing that we've been doing. Don't need that. Okay, so this is the ship schematic. Take off the custom decorator I'm using in LibRocket. Change that to be more central. Add the schematic source, not that one, that's just for debug. Yeah, and then add the thing that we're actually wanting to see, which is the ship. And then that's just making the position of those slots a little bit more precise, which is kind of useful. Okay, so it's probably also worth poking something on Reddit, just to say that I've been live streaming. Where is the daily thread? Game dev. This one. Recently updated posting guidelines. Live stream. Once a month. Well, I haven't done it that recently. Well, should be on the live dev streams anyway. Cool, that's good. That'll do. Great, so let me just pull up the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay. Right, so I'm just committing this change, which is show your ship in equipment screen. There we go. Okay. Right, so the next thing I want to work on, I'm just working through my issues list. That's done. Yeah, done that. So probably the next thing to work on is I can either work on this auto updater. So as you can see, I've got a little checking service for update. All of that is, oop, that's kind of weird. Shouldn't have actually done that. That's odd. What just happened? Oh, I can't quit. No. Okay, well that's a bug. I probably just need to get rid of. It's gone now. Yeah, that's not so good. So what's going on there? Didn't seem to click on anything. Is that because I just clicked on update? Yes. Huh. Then I have to force quit. Okay. That'll be down to probably the panel code. Or menu panel, actually. Right, so it's processing the click and it's stopping the propagation. Selection signal based on the ID. Right, so that's not really what I want. So I only want it to click on the buttons. Probably will do that if I click on the icon too. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, that's weird. So why is it? This is a little bit of a rat hole here. But why is that doing that? That's a good question. It's because each child has got a click listener, so this shouldn't be in there. Yeah, and actually it looks better down there, and now I can't click on it, which is great. Okay, that's better. Anyway, so all I've done is just added checking service for update. The Tiger 2 change is just a debug thing. I can get reset, that one. Git checkout, source, solar system, control, generator. Cool. So all I've done is added this update check thing to, sorry, just checking something. There we go. So all I've done is added this update check. Just putting up the chat room, make sure I can see you. There we go, that should have come up. Just if you could tell me whether the audio's any good, whether or not you can see it properly, that would be really cool. Thank you. So now I've got the auto updater running. What I want to be able to do is download the file list. So the way that this works, if I go to builds sortrader.net and go to updates OSX, no, that's not right. Where is it putting it? I'll have to look at that later. Basically, it generates a file list. Hang on, I just need to try and find the place in which it generates that. So the file list is created for me if I do a rake dist. Let's actually build probably. So if I do this, what this is going to do is it's going to, well, I need to actually finish building the game because there's something that's missing here. So I'll let it go through its process. Cool. What that's doing is it's just creating and signing the application for me. So that TCL dev keychain is out of date. It's got the wrong certificate in it. I need to update that certificate with the latest one. So if you could let me know whether or not the audio is working okay, that would be really helpful. Okay, so now I should have, great, so I've got this built a couple of things. This is the update file. So we get a file list, oops, less. We get this, which is basically just a description of the update. Basically what we need to do is you need to grab this target version out of the file. So at the moment what I do, to get an URL, I have this HTTP request thing, and then I just do a simple get. But all this does is it just gets the URL for me. It doesn't actually save the URL anywhere. So what I kind of need to do is basically save the file list URL to memory, I guess, and then I need to do I shouldn't parse XML with a regular expression or anything like that, but I can probably just get with that file list. Let's just load it. I should be able to just grab this bit out of it. Then basically, if the server has a newer version, that's what I'm after, a newer version than the current version I have, then I want to download the full update. So, if that's the case, the first thing I want to do on the main menu which is just a menu panel. Yep. Okay, so I kind of need to check for update, which I only really want to do on start game, whereas show me a menu I think is called in a few places. Yeah. That's not really what I'm after. Let's see. I kind of want check for update. Now what I want this to do is I would like this to go to the HTTP request and get a request, but I want it to do it on a different thread. I want to be able to post a request in and for that to come back at some point. Probably call a method that I pass in. Okay, so the way that I currently do that is with a metrics code. What this does is it just HTTP gets every time something interesting happens in the game, so I can record what happens. And I'm not actually using this at the moment. It's not the account that it's posting to is turned off, so it's costing too much money. But this is definitely something. Oh, great! Glad to hear that the audio is working okay. Sorry, I'm not very good at following that all the time. I need to check the chat more regularly. Just put that down there so I can see it. Okay, so this recorder thing is a little bit of asynchronous I/O that I run on a thread in order to get the latest piece of work. So, that being the case, that just grabs a URL that I push to a queue, but it doesn't do anything with it. Depends on what. Yeah. I don't want it to simply ignore. This just ignores the response. Whereas if how am I going to do this? If I want to actually record the response somewhere, I'm going to have to save it. Probably. At the moment, all I'm doing is when I write data, it just grabs it. I could probably stuff it in a string. I know I can definitely write it to something, like a file. That would be fine. Just create my own curl instance, but no, because I quite like these HTTP requests are fine, and I have a little curl set up as a singleton, so that's all right. Let's just close a couple of these things down. Cool. So that's working. So really, in my check for update method, let's just riff on this for a minute. What would I like to be able to do? I'd like to be able to do something like this. I'd like to be able to say, just like my metrics code just creates these things, recorder. I want to be able to say recorder. It's not really a recorder, it's a retriever get or retrieve URL, and I want my HTTP request URL to simply be whatever's in the config. This is going to need to be config const. Whoops, did I type that wrong? Yes, I did. Config. The point at which I call it, I've got that, so that's good. So it'll be the config update URL, which I'll figure out later. But then I also need to add in a couple things here. It'll be file. Ah, now it also depends on my platform, which I'm not sure that I have. Okay, well, let's just make it work on Mac for now, with a big to-do. Okay. Cool. So that's kind of what I want to be able to do. I don't need any parameters. It's this retriever that's the tricky bit. Because I don't really want to... What I could do is repurpose this thing as an HTTP service. Just comment that out for a minute, and let's rename this to HTTP service. Because recorder is it's just something that gets stuff. You can still call it recorder here because that's its primary purpose at this point. Let's just make sure that compiles and runs the tests. And while I'm building, this is a perfect time to ask me questions. So if you'd like to do that, please do. Very open to questions and comments. I can only see them on my phone though because I'm working on a laptop in a hotel room. So bear with me. Cool. Let's just... pull that up. Cool. Okay, so too many arguments function call. Yeah, that's because... do it again. Config. Cool. Let's try again. Okay. Yes, that's because I'm going to change that to class HTTP service, and then here I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make it a class HTTP service, and then I'm going to keep all that stuff private. I don't know why it's a struct at the moment, to be honest. I don't think I'm getting any of that stuff from outside the class anyway, but let's see. Probably retweet that link from my main account. There we go. That one there, retweet. Yes, please. Let's see if anyone joins for that. Okay, why is this building the whole world? It's because I changed metrics. Metrics is included in a few different places. That's just the way of things. Cool, that worked. So we have chicken service update. Obviously that's not actually doing anything yet. Okay, so if we got that working, Cool. Okay. Fine, so now we have this class, interesting. I think the next thing to do is to pull this out. So, take it out of here, create a source http service.h. Okay, there's the service, if and if. That will also need to come out. That's just a warning that I get. If and if cp http service .h define. This is the standard include guard you need in every C++ program. Just put my namespace in. Okay, now I don't want all of this in the header. I need to create another source http service.cpp. Okay, and then let's take out most of this code and then just leave the definitions in. So include http service. This is a pretty standard piece of extraction of a class. Sorry, I just need to make sure I've got my... hello Rabidon, nice to have you with us. You are very welcome. So if you have any questions, then please let me know. Right, so at this point I should just be able to do HTTP service. Same here, whoops. Same here. Same here, same here, and same here. And then I can just take out all of this stuff. Okay, and now I have a nice tight little class, which I can then just do HTTP service. So I've still got both the HTTP service and the request. Now I've got a class there, that's fine. Don't think I'm using it anywhere else. Cool, let's build that and see what happens. Oh, lots of failures. Oh yes, I'm sure there are a few things that I'm missing here for each. I don't need that one because it's in the compiled header. That I will need here. That is okay. S-stream, I don't think I need that either. Q, I will probably need in here. ISGM, I definitely don't need. This is pretty old code, and a lot of this is now in the precompiled header, so I can remove some of this stuff, which makes me happy. I like removing dead includes. Okay, unidentified HTTP request. Oh, we store those as individual objects, do we? Interesting. Not entirely sure about that. It means that I need to include the header here. The answer is yes, and this is Vim. I'm a big fan of Vim. It has a vertically steep learning curve. Once you get used to it, it's really cool. I don't tend to recommend it to new people particularly. That's just my retweet, isn't it? I tend to recommend using a sane editor like Sublime Text is a really good modern editor. Sublime Text 3 I think is out, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so now the metrics code has is using an HTTP service as its recorder. Now, the interesting thing with that is that now, of course, in main menu, we can simply require HTTP service. We can create our own. This has a ton of stuff, this main menu. It feels like it's basically turning into a big container for everything. isn't so hot. Okay. What I kind of want is a game updater. Which takes maybe the config for the update URL. But I need it to exist past the definition of this method. You always wanted to start learning. It is fast. When you get used to it, it's super fast. It's awesome. It is worth learning. I don't recommend newbies to learn it, but I do recommend experienced devs to learn it. I think it's the best thing. It's great not having to use a mouse to do anything, basically. So let's see. I think I might just get this working and then move towards a game updater. That's kind of where I want to go, because otherwise main menu is doing a lot of stuff and I don't really want that to happen. Sorry, I keep looking over here at my comment stream because it's the only way I can see comments at the moment, only having one screen on this little laptop, so I'm keeping a look over there. I wonder if that huge TV over there, I could try plugging into that. Maybe I'll try that a bit later. I'm in a hotel room in New York at the moment, and I'm normal. Obviously, I'm not from America. You can probably tell that I'm English, but I'm staying over here working at a client for the next few days. So, okay, so this is where I want to get to. I'll do that later. Don't need to leave that there. Okay, so we have a new request and we want to retrieve it, but we want to ask it to put that request somewhere else. So at the moment we have a record method in HTTP request, which basically throws away the response. So record just pops it on a queue. When that queue ends up doing the work, it just does a get, but then it doesn't do anything with that service afterwards. And the standard HTTP request is all it's doing is it's just we're setting a write function when it does the get, and then that is just junking the data that's passed through. It's not copying it or anything. Ideally, we want to save it to a temporary file, which we then clear up after the process. So what do we want to have to happen here? We want, let's write this down. We want to get the file list XML, check version against stored version for update version. If the same, print up to date and stop and clean up. Okay. If different, show button for update. When button clicked, download update. What's in the update again? We had a look at that a minute ago. It's the sort. Oh, it's in here. Basically, it's the app.zip and it's the updater binary. Cool. If I just set that to be the update URL to be whatever we set in the config, that's probably the right thing. Just make a note that I need to do that. Use update URL in config, which has the right platform built in. also use update binary file name in config. That'll either be updater for OS X or updater.exe for Windows. Okay, just making some notes here. By the way, this Trello board is public. If you want to go and have a look at it, you are very welcome to. I'll leave the URL up there for a minute. You can vote on issues. I think I've turned on voting. If I haven't turned on voting, I need to. Let's just do that. Voting is enabled, yeah, awesome. So if you want to vote on something to say whether or not you particularly want that or not, then please do that, and I will use that. Maybe the stuff here is definitely going to happen, stuff here is possibly going to happen, but if you vote on it, I'll get to it first. Am I using some game library or framework for C++? I'm not using a game library, I'm using a cross-platform framework called SDL, which is a pretty low-level framework. The engine that I've written is entirely in OpenGL, so that is my own engine, which is cross-platform. It works across Windows and Mac. That's a real pain to maintain, but it does work. And I've written the updater that I'm including here. I'm using the update, where is it? Update installer package. This does a lot of the grunt work for updates. I've already got the program doing the preparation of updates. That all works fine. So the build system already prepares and uploads the updates for me for the first kind of version of the game, and for the new versions. And then what I need to do now is code the game so that it actually downloads the updates. So when the button is clicked, download the update. Finished. Execute the updater. Be interesting to see how well that goes, because you're probably going to get a download from the internet. Do you want to run it? Message, but I can't really do much about that. I'll need to sign it too. Yeah, that's worth mentioning. Sign updater. Windows, question mark. See what that comes up with. The mic is not picking up sound too well. Sorry about that. Should be set up. Should be. Yeah, built-in microphone. That's all I can pretty much do. Sorry about that. Possibly in the wrong place. I'll try and speak a bit more clearly. Okay, so I think tonight I need to concentrate on just getting this thing from the HTTP request, not that, the service that we have. This record is kind of doing the right thing, especially telling it to run the process method. And that's just grabbing the latest one. So that's fine. Maybe when we post something to the service, it's interesting that the HTTP service isn't the thing that's actually doing the gets. It's actually the HTTP request itself that has a request manager that manages the gets. Exactly what I'm expecting. But I guess the issue is that these are synchronous gets and I want them to be asynchronous. So the service itself is handling the asynchronicity of those requests. Yeah, which I also want. So it's just doing a get though, and this get isn't exactly what I wanted to do. Now that will all depend on the right data method that I passed in. So when I set up a new HTTP request, what I could do is have something which depending on when I create the new thing, I could pass it a file handle, which it just saves to. That would be quite good. Right, I definitely need some tests for that. So HTTP TTP request spec. Let's see. We've got some tests here. So sweet passing a file handle. Can't call it that. Test HTTP request saves. Actually, that's already part of the context. Saves to file. Okay, so HTTP request URL. Let's grab a request URL. Google is my favorite one. And then if I do a url.get, if instead of doing this, I pass in a file handle. So how about I use the Boost file system stuff, which is my cross-platform right temp directory path. So if I can grab, good to actually open this thing off stream. Temp directory path. And this comes from a Boost file system object, and I can't remember how to use those. So let's just have a quick look. Boost file system create directories. That's not what I want to do. Only mention here. Right, game path. Yeah, this is my save games. Yeah, that's not really helping me because that's just a path thing. Where does this thing come from? This is a temp directory path. Boost file system temp directory path. Let's have a look at using it. So what I'm trying to do in the test, which also I will use in the real production code, is to, I think I was just looking at that. Yeah. Operational functions. Okay, sorry, my chat's just died. Are you a game developer or is it just my hobby? Good question. I am a professional programmer for a living. I used to be a AAA game developer when I first started my career about 10 or so, actually more like 15 years ago. I did 4 years in the games industry in London. Then I went and worked as a web application developer for around about, I don't know, 8-10 years or so. And I've just kind of recently got back into building games in my kind of spare time. I would love to be able to do this full time. Economically, that's not possible at the moment, but I'm hopefully when this game comes out, that might generate enough traction to be able to make this a full-time thing. But I'm not quite there yet. We'll see how I get on. Okay, so here, if we have got a file based on this, I'm probably doing this wrong. Off stream. Let's just look for that in the code. Right, path file name Seastra. Yeah, I need to just do this, don't I? Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this. I want a temporary directory path. Directory path suitable for temporary files. Specifics of how this path is determined at permission to file an error should be reported if not exists or not is directory where the path is the path returned. It's probably one unique path actually. So I probably want boost file system path boost file system. We're going to get bored of typing that for a while. Unique path, and then I probably want to say standard offstring file path.filename. I probably want to say boost file system, or actually path temp, and then temp create directories. Okay, I will keep cross fingers, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, this is just this. Oops, not there. Temp. So now that should create a bunch of directories for me. Okay, once I've done that, I should be able to say path.filename. This is the magic of Booth file system, sorry. I should be able to say path and then file list.xml. Standard iOS binary and the standard iOS trunk, which is just means it's a binary file. It's not actually a binary file, so I can get rid of that. The truncate will overwrite the file, which is what I want. So now if I pass an off stream, now this is interesting. Probably actually want to point to that off stream. Yeah, because it could be null. And then I do a get. Then in theory, check equal. I just want to check to see whether this path exists. That would do it. Check boost file system. Is there an empty? It is empty. Woohoo! That's what I want. So check boost file system exists. Path file list.xml, and then check boost file system is empty, and I don't want it to be empty, I want it to not be empty. Cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating the new temporary files, I'm creating a new file list thing. Let's see if that's working to start with. Path file list.xml. That should do this trick. And then I just download the contents of google.com, not the entire contents, obviously just the contents of that page, into my file, and then I get it. And then that should create the path for me. Cool, that's a reasonable test. It doesn't check that the content is correct, but at least it checks that I'm putting something in the content, which is a great start point of view. Where did I get the graphics? I have an artist that created them for me. His name's Amar. He's an old friend from the games industry years ago. Right, so here's this retriever that we're not doing yet. So I'm going to just comment all of that stuff out at the moment. Okay, so hopefully those tests should compile. Nope. Right, use one to get to identify path. Oh, that's because I just renamed it. Actually, path is a bad name. I prefer to stick to temp. That was a better name. Path. Oops. Temp. Okay. Any other questions? Compiling is a great time to ask me questions. A truly excellent time. Okay. Right. No matching constructor for off-stream. What am I doing wrong about off-stream? Path, file name. Ah. I just need to create my new path. I'm doing that a lot actually. So let's actually create the file. Path file, which is temp file list.xml. So that then will create a file thing. File name. Seems to need to be that. Then just print out the file. Oh, I call that the file as well. This is probably FN or just XML. XML, not that. And this can just be XML. Okay. Right. Interesting, it's not working. Okay. No matching constructor. Now this is more like it. So this is because I'm not actually doing anything. So if I just, I haven't got that constructor yet because I'm not actually doing the HTTP request. Yeah, so this should now compile and actually print something. Right into path, what was that? Great. Oh, okay, so I was not really hoping for that. I don't really want it to write to that path. So that means I've now got sort of random stuff. Yeah, it's given me a random directory. I didn't want that. Remove directory bbcc. Okay, so what that's done is it's actually created, yeah, I don't want it to just do that. I want it to do boost file system. What is it? Temporary. Temp directory path. And then a unique path underneath that. That should do the trick. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Rebanon. Thanks for coming by. Do follow me on Twitch if you'd like to. And then you'll get a notification every time we go live, which is how most people tend to find the stream. I haven't posted on Reddit for a while. I probably should do that soon. Possibly not when I'm slightly less tired and want to do like a full few hours of streaming. Okay, so where's that updating thing? Right into path, that looks more like it. Right, so that's now saving to a temporary directory. However, it's not doing anything because it's not actually saving. Right, so we now have a reasonable test. So let's go back to actually passing an address of the thing that we're working on. Right, so HTTP request now needs to be updated. So now what I can say here is standard O stream. Doesn't have to be an off stream, it can be any sort of stream. The great thing about that is I could potentially write it to a string in memory, which is kind of cool. So we don't always want to do that. Standard O stream, and actually that needs to be equals null. And then we can just initialize standard O stream. Oh, I'll call it no stream. With a. Okay, and then we can simply say OStream stream. Okay. Now what that's done is it's just saved the pointer, so it still won't do anything, but at least it won't cause an error anymore. Cool. Right. Host will be initialized after. Oh, I don't care. Really couldn't care less. Okay. Profile OStream is not used. No, that's because I haven't used it yet. Okay, so the next thing is to fix the error you see. So now in this case, interesting. So if, okay. Right, so at the moment we just write, this is going to be do not write data. Okay, so at the moment we have a method which just doesn't do anything. And then we should also have a method which does write data to stream. Now what, I hate the way they do the spacing, I don't know why I've done it like this. There we go. What this is going to do is instead of just returning the amount of bytes written, which is just a dummy, we can actually do something a bit more sensible. But first we just need to say if OStream, then do something else. And this is obviously the else case. So in this instance, we just want to do a dummy. In the OStream case, we actually want to go write to stream. Now curl opt. There's a write data method too. Whoops, I need to open that new window. That's the one. Don't really care about that at the moment. Co-op write data, that's what I want. And basically I think I just want to set the OStream as my data, and I'll show you why that's important in a minute. So curl write data method. So what we do here is we just pass in a void pointer, which in this case is the curl stream. And then that's passed in as the callback's fourth argument. So now I can say std.ostream stream, or ostream equals standard ostream user data. Awesome. So I get my thing back, and then what I can simply do is, I need to put this on the stream. Now what I don't remember how to do is just write to a stream. I think I can just do this. Now let's see, curl write to OStream. I think I can just do that. And I think it's probably MMB. I need to check all of that. Writing a response to a file. Write data stream, yep, write data. Right, so that's what I'm doing. Stream write point account, yeah, that's basically exactly what I'm doing. The question is did anyone actually reply with anything useful? Right, okay. That's probably the right thing to do. The best thing to do is just to run it and see what happens. Let's just double check write data. Right function, there's the right callback. Is multiplied by NMB, yes, so that is correct. Okay, so conversion from system to OStream to OStream. It's a pointer. Okay. It's not just an object. Sorry, I keep looking over here because my chat window is over here. I don't want to miss any questions you guys might have. What would be nice would be to put something in my tmux window here which just shows me how many people are watching. And maybe if there are any chat, what I should do is have the last chat window comment here. Ooh, wow, I crashed everything. Okay, I wonder why. Try to figure that out. Anyway, so apparently this folder there is nothing. Okay. So I created the file OFStream. What was the binary thing? Maybe I didn't create the binary thing correctly. Maybe I didn't open it. Yeah. Can I not just construct it and have it do things? I thought that just created a thing. Offstream. Steamcaster write on files. Okay, that's fine. Construct object. Does this open the file? Default, and then open with the mode specified by mode. That's fine. I should probably just check to make sure iOS fail is not set. Just to make sure. If it is failing, then I'm in trouble. Yeah, it'd be really nice to have a little kind of message down here that said last chat. And just number of people watching that's refreshed every so often. That would be a cool little thing to write. It's not very hard to write to. There's a challenge. I've already got it right doing my load and doing mail down here in Tmux. Right, so that did pass the file list open. Probably just want to say, is it good? Don't know why it's crashing. All those places, that's a bad sign. Consistently too. Right, so it should be writing to that file. So ls, find the file name again because I lost it. That one. There's nothing in there. In theory, that's the file name. So our file name C string. Ooh, it's file name correct. Can't say. Ah, fail. Oh, it's working. Awesome. So what happened is when I said writing to path, it's actually just opening the file name of the path, which is not what I wanted. I actually wanted, so I was just doing file name, which is just the name of the file. So actually, I don't want that. I probably just want C string. Whoops. I probably just want the string name of the path. Let's see. Definitions, yep. Yep. I probably want the path name. So here we have all the different things, root path, relative path, parent path. I just want the path. Just do path.string. It's just doing. But that is a path still, which means I should be able to just say xml.cstring. Let's see. So instead of writing to the local file, it should write to the right place now. Boom. Okay, so yeah, it looked like it worked. So now if I grab that path, cat that, yay, it's Google. Awesome, so this is working. Now it's not the sort of test I can run all the time, unfortunately, because it's one of those tests that won't work if you don't have an internet connection. But the interesting thing is what happens with all of the others. So why are they all crashing? So let's try and find out. Segmentation fault, backtrace. Why are you trying to write data to stream? Because the user data will be Ooh, I wonder if by changing that I've broken it for everyone. So that should set do not write data for the next get we get. Am I doing this anywhere else? I surely hope not. No, that's the only place in which I'm doing it. So that should be set if the OStream is set. So I need to break HTTP request line 46. Okay, so this one is the test saves to file, so that's the one I like. Happy with, that's working. Now this one, where is this happening? This is happening in the thread. But I can't tell where. That's thread 8. Thread 1 is structurally volatile. Okay, so it's moved on from the point at which it actually scheduled the thing. Okay, now do we have an OStream? We do. Why? Okay, what I probably need to do is inside the HTTP request here, I need to do cout get URL and then OStream, which is a stream. So I can see just before the crash what on earth is going on. I think that the metric stuff is interfering. It's interfering with the metrics saves, which I do all the time. It's probably setting something that is then not getting cleared. That shouldn't just be creating the stream, that should be OStream. I think that's what's going on. So it starts failing. We do the get with the stream, that's fine. And then we're trying to do a get entered planet on example.com with an OStream set. Okay. Oh. In the HTTP service, sorry, I just moved to make sure you can still see me. Yeah. Yeah, I think I know what's going on here. And it's super, super annoying. In the HTTP service, it copies the URL. So it could be, you see we do a uPush request here. And this is just an object. Copies the HTTP request. Now, I'm not sure that that's setting it to null. I have a feeling it's not doing what I want it to do. Because getting entered planet, let's just find out where entered planet is happening in the code. It's happening here. Metrics property, metrics record. Now I know look, there is no way that that is setting in the stream, which means HTTP request, that should be nil. I bet it isn't. So we should probably just say HTTP request create. Let's see if we can capture that. Okay. Just putting in a few debug pointers. When you've got this kind of multi-threaded thing going on, it's always a bit tricky to work out what's going on. Right, so let's have a look. Right, so it's creating the first one, that's fine. But look, HTTP request create, but when I try and get it, it's not copying it correctly. Damn it. I need a specific copy constructor, don't I? I thought that the stuff was handled for you. See, experts chime in here, but I didn't think you needed to do this. Just annoying. Maybe it's trying to be smart. What else do I care about? I care about the query string, I guess. What's the add doing? Yeah, it's just adding stuff to the query string. So I also care about query string, other dot query string. I don't care about anything else. I actually care about curl. Where is that? That's first. See, I thought that this was the default. I thought this was the default behavior. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's find out if that makes a difference. Kind of annoying if it didn't. Worked? Worked fine. So that one worked. Get the right thing. Everywhere else, totally fine. How annoying. Okay. I'm very happy to have that, but I still think that's annoying. So don't need that anymore. I'm also going to have to, the HTTP request specs, I don't tend to leave those tests in the build because they don't always work. That I can always leave going. I should probably also remove that file structure when I'm done. So I've got create directories, remove, delete, remove all. So remove all temp. Okay. So that should then remove the directory. Let's just make sure that that has worked. I'm not going to remove the entire file system. That's fine. That would be bad. So now we wrote paths. So our folders C3, 3DS. That's still there. 794F isn't there, yeah. But all my other stuff is probably still there. Yeah. That one's still there, but the one that I just created isn't. Fine. Cool. So that is creating a path and it's writing to it and it's doing the get, but it's not doing any more than that. Cool. So now we have a couple of things. I'm not going to put that in yet. I'm going to add in my new fancy writing to file, or writing to stream stuff. No, not yet. Actually, I could do with that. I am going to put this in, and this in, and this in. Saving to file is going to go in. And there was one other bit I wanted, not that, but I do want that. But I'm going to just pop those in as a stub. So the only thing I'm not checking in is the actual showing the check for update. I just need the source HTTP service as well. Cool. So this stuff is actually, oops, it's actually exactly what I want in my main menu game state inside this method. So the first thing I want to do is get the file list XML, and then I need to service, it's down to record at the moment, but I'm not going to. Just thinking about this here. In order to test this, I need to do something around I'll just create a new window for a minute. I've got this little directory here. What I could do, I can use this. So if I start my new HTTP service, on port 8989. I use that as a little test service. I can actually say, I can just do this for now, and then I can simply say, yeah, that's correct. So I can get the first file. Great. Now, service, I don't have one of those yet. So I'm going to need one HTTP service. HTTP service. Oops. And then that's still already there. So if I do a service get, now one thing about the HTTP service I don't like is this thing is called record, which makes no sense. So let's do that. In metrics I have the same thing. Record get. That's fine. Okay. So in my main menu, I don't need this anymore. Cool. So what this should do is as soon as I start the game, it should create my temporary file, stuff it in there. I'm just going to see out that stuff as well. In fact, should I just dump it in memory? I need to read it anyway. That's a great question. I don't know the answer. Otherwise, I'm going to have to either I grab it into memory and then check the contents and then re-download it, or save it. No, I don't want to save it. Just close it. Yeah, I can just close it and reopen it. Yeah, let's save it and then reopen it. Just need to open it. Just read some data. I know what this file is going to look like. In fact, I've got one here. All I need is the first, how many characters? How many characters do I need? I could just seek to the right spot and read that. I know it's always going to be the same. That's kind of cheating. It's fine for now. I get to control both sides of this process. So what I'm trying to do, just in case you're trying to figure it out, is I'm basically trying to read from this file. So I've opened it, I've copied it to my disk, and now I downloaded it, as it were. Now I'm opening it, and now I just want to do file as seek, which just means zoom to a particular position in a file. So what I can do is just say I want to seek to, I know where this file is going to be, so just to make that obvious. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I seek to 20 and then read. No, that's not what I want to do. 15. So that's seek 35. I can easily do that. 35 left. Yeah, that's correct. So, and then I can just do file list read 27. Now this may seem incredibly brittle, and you're probably right, but because I control this XML file creation, I can reasonably easily do this. Cool, so I just need to say char buff, I don't want to say 27, let's just say 128. Rob beef buff 27. Now I just want to just output that, make sure I've got the right thing. Version. Found version. Version. Okay. Who else is online at the moment? It's always quite nice to see. Oh, a few different people. It's kind of cool. Okay. Right. So I've done a couple of things wrong here. Okay, invalid operands to binary expression. That's because I just need to wrap this thing in a string with buff version. Okay. That should do the trick. Hello Tristan, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Okay. Expected a single argument request. Oh yeah, that's because it actually goes on here. Just pay attention to my own API. Now there's a complication here. Because we need to wait here until this thing has actually run. So it's all very well saying, oh yeah, we're just going to get the file, but we need to be told when this file is finished. So this is actually saving file. So at the moment this is going to crash because this file is going to be closed before it's even got around, the thread's even got around to downloading the rest of it. So basically we need to actually end this method here and have some on update. Something like this. which takes a boost file system. And then we can actually grab the thing. Yeah, I think that's probably one for another day. I'm getting pretty tired. Yeah, I need to think about how this AnchorSync stuff is going to work, and I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm still a bit jet lagged. I'm in New York at the moment, and it's 3 a.m. in the UK. So I think trying to attempt to get this async stuff working while I'm this tired is probably not worth doing. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure streaming for you tonight, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Do follow me on Twitch if you want to see more of these kind of streams. The more followers I get, the more I'm likely to live stream for you guys. So please do that if you can. Okay, great to see you, and sorry to go so soon after a couple of you have arrived, and yeah, see you next time.